All right, let's talk about our piece of featured content for tonight's stream. So, thanks to Ultimate DJ's giveaway, which just surprisingly ninjaed its way into my account, caught me by surprise. Thank you to the chat for reminding me I should check there because other people were saying that they got their gifts already. I have received a USS Dauntless. I won this on his channel for, I think I came in second to third to last in a marbles game or something when he was giving out a bunch of them at the beginning of the arc. And it has now been awarded to my account. So now we are going to go ahead and actually build the Dauntless and see what this little thing can do. It's not the prettiest looking ship. Looks kind of like one of those doorstop things you stick under there to keep it from swinging shut. But let's see what she can do. Cutting edge seek and destroy ability. When activated, the ship will automatically hunt and engage nearby non-armada hostiles. Right. Ship's combat abilities are greatly enhanced. So basically, you turn on the auto kill function, and it goes around and kills stuff for you, and it gets damage bonuses and things like that while it's doing it. So it, as a normal ship flying around, it's going to be significantly weaker than when you're using this ability. But this ability, of course, is highly limited. The more you level the ship up, both not only does the ability last longer, but you'll also get to turn it on more times per day. Apply damage, more barrier, more hostile loot. Common loot in the Dauntless Strongbox for parts to upgrade it. Okay. Tier up the ship to increase its abilities. And then there's a whole little research section, which we'll look at in just a second. Oh. There's like a mission related to acquiring the Dauntless. Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. So we got a mission. Okay. Oh, you know what this was? This was the event mission that came from the holodeck, Undaunted. That's what it was, because the step one is build the ship. All right, so let's go do that real fast. In the meantime, let's repair a dock here. It is incredibly slow to upgrade this ship. We were looking at the chart the other day. Um, the Dauntless has one of the longest upgrade times of any of the recent specialty ships. Taking this ship from tier 1 to tier 15, basically maxing it out at the current drop rate of just using the refinery for parts is 743 days, which is just over 2 years. This puts it on par with the Vindicator, which is about 700 days. It's actually slightly more. But obviously, the Vindicator does have additional sourcing of events now through event stores and things. The GS31 was only like 200 days. The Revenant is kind of around the same time there. The Relativity, I think, was like 350 to 400, but that also has additional part sourcing now, so that's gotten even faster. At some point in time, probably 6 months from now, the Dauntless will likely get ship parts for it dropped in event stores and things to speed this along a little bit to help it catch up. But of course, because it's new and they want players to sort of feel the pain of upgrading it, because especially the higher G5, G6, now G7 players, they're going to want to get it to these higher tiers as quickly as they can so they can take over their grinding for it. And that means, of course, they're likely to spend 100, 200, $300 buying a couple packs to move the needle along a little quicker. We will not be doing that. I'll be taking it up free to play like I do everything else these days. But hey, would you look at that? Was that the one shard I needed to tier up Ducat? Oh, I'm actually one over. Okay. Ooh, he uses Pioneer Crests to promote. Interesting. Okay, I don't think I want to promote him just yet then. Still doing some research there. I have to kill hostiles using the Seek and Destroy ability. Somehow I had a feeling that that was going to be the case. So, alright, fine. Let's actually swap to the actual ship, and we'll send that around to do its killing. So we're starting off at 37 million for me, base power. There's the Seek and Destroy ability. Improves the buffs and things like that. You cannot use the Seek and Destroy during wave defense or arena, but you can use it in the new surge events, and it's definitely helpful for that. While Seek and Destroy is active, base damage 145,000% increase. That's at level 1. 40,000 Apex Barrier at level 1, 3% loot drop from hostiles, and if you're killing the specific aggregation hostiles, you get an extra 200% to their loot as well. And if we go look at stfc.space, we can see how this ship scales up with those abilities. So you're starting at 145,000% damage bonus. Just by leveling up from level 1 to level 5, it now goes to 200,000%. So before you even leave the dock, you might as well do this. That'll unlock your first below deck slot as well, and give you an extra 55,000% in terms of damage. That's pretty good. Apex Barrier does not seem to change. There's no slider on that one, so that's just sort of a flat debuff. The loot drop one also seems to go up like 3% every level, so this 3% basically jumps to 15% by the time you're realistically ready to take it out of dock, and that will go all the way up to over 200% when you get it up to the highest levels. The damage bonus here also goes up to over 1.2 million%. It's pretty big. And then for the aggregation hostiles here you're looking at, that stays the same the entire way. That's 200%. And like I said, the Apex Barrier also stays the same the whole way. So leveling it up right away, you're going to boost the damage and the loot drop, the basic loot drop. That still seems worth doing. So let's do that. Let's put the ship XP into it. Not only will we upgrade our abilities a little bit, we'll also get our first below deck slot unlocked, which is always a good thing to have. Now, I do want to also check and see if it did anything to my refineries. Yes. Before we do any upgrading on the ship, let's actually claim. So there's our gift chests. We're getting a variety of materials, common, uncommon, rare, tier up prototype materials, and refinery materials, and building upgrade parts. All right there. That's a gift chest. Then we have our daily chest, which is starting off using the 4-star uncommon. Give us a few more ship parts and stuff. So let's go ahead and take that. That's a 1 chest pull only. And then here's your Seek and Destroy ability, where you can also come in and claim that probably on a daily basis. Okay, so that's cool. I do have more of this banner stuff now. If I 4-star and the 5-star materials, if I wanted to try and unlock any of this other stuff. Okay. Hey, Drastic, good to see you. All right, so I have to come in here and I have to kill stuff using my Search and Destroy ability. So let's just bring you back home. We'll flip ships real quick. And while we're waiting for them to fly out, let's go look at our ship abilities. I think it's all in the aggregation. Yeah. So unlike the Starship tree, which normally has your specialty ship stuff, everything for the Dauntless is in the aggregation research tab. You start off with boosting your warp range, plus 50, and then that will scale up as ships tend to. Then you're getting into hull and shield upgrades, cargo and protected cargo upgrades. So getting through that first block of researches that they're going to make you do before you can get to the ones that you really want to do, which is your seek and destroy bonuses here for increasing your critical damage output. Also requires the ship to be tier 4, so not like you're in a huge rush to get there. And also boosting your isolytic damage, which requires your ship to be tier 7, so you got a little time to work your way through these. And then you get some additional tier 10. You're talking about hazard resistance, moving into the G6 realm with it. More apex barrier also happening at tier 10. And it will eventually, once you're at 70 here, you can make your USS Vengeance a little more efficient in terms of ship parts to make it easier to level that up. And then there's a jump drive available for it as well at tier 10 plus. So no need to rush this stuff. Take your time working your way through, because again, you are going to have some tier restrictions on the ship. The first couple ones you can do, but the ones that are going to be more helpful do require you to have the ship leveled up a little bit first. All right, so now here we are. Let's clear the screen. There's our Dauntless. It's just chilling. I have a standard hostile crew on it. Should have no problem killing these things. I'm just going to hit the seek and destroy button. Actually, just for curiosity's sakes, right? Let's just kill one regular hostile so we can look at a battle log and see how much drastically improved the difference is. Hey, we didn't even kill one. We didn't even kill it. Well, there you go. That's the first answer. How much drastic is the the improvement for that? Does ship part cost efficiency work for specialty ships? The generic ones that says it improved like ship parts for upgrading, typically no. But some of them do have specific specialty researches that would apply here. But the standard ones where it's like you're, doing your dolomite particles, whatever, like, oh yeah, it's 500% more cost efficient on ship parts. That's just talking about your FKR ships and those types of common, uncommon, rare ship parts, not specialty ship parts. So we tried to take on a level 45. We got it most of the way down. The fight went one round. Awesome. So not so good. Yeah, we mitigated all the decay. Took no damage from that. I shot it for 3 million base, 12 million isolytic damage. It shot me for 62 million. I mitigated less than half. So not so good. We were going against the triangle, so that's my fault. I probably should have picked one that actually might have had this working in our favor. Apex barrier blocked a little bit, but we still took a big chunk of hull health, which this thing being a tier 1 ship doesn't have a whole lot of yet. But now we're going to turn on seek and destroy. And it doesn't know where it's going. Let's reload the system. So now it's on active seek and destroy mode here. That will last, it starts for me at lasting 10 minutes. And it's just going to fly around and kill everything. And we go look at our actual battle log here. This time around again. Still only going one round, as you can see. But this time around, instead of hitting for, what was I hitting for 3 million, and it's killing them so damn quick I can't even keep up. Instead of hitting for 3 million and 12 million on the crits, well, we're not even getting to the criticals. All right, let's go back and look at this first one again, the one we died on. Did I get a base damage shot off? Yes. So my base damage shot was doing 300,000. All right, so basically my crits were 10x damage. Okay. So we did 300,000 and 1.2 million base damage. Because of the bonus on the ship, while it's doing the search and destroy, running around killing everything like a, axe murderer here. Well, base damage, I'm doing 6 million and 22 million damage. So, drastic improvement. Of course, it's 200,000% higher. And if you see when I hit a critical here, still doing the 10x multiplier, this thing is crushing it for, almost 300 million points of damage. And it's just going to fly around here, completing everything that I need to do. Look, I'm already done. Whatever it was I needed to do, it's already done it. And I could just leave it here for 7 more minutes if I wanted to. Or I could hit this little button here, I think, and turn it off. Now that still counts as my event. It's now gonna, there goes my cooldown. So it's not the timer that you're sort of restricted by like we see on a lot of other ships. It's because that timer requires a currency, and that currency, the sourcing for it, is restricted. Your seek and destroy, you're limited to having 300 pieces of at a time, and I'm only getting 100 per day to start with. But I do want to see just what kind of research we can do with the Dauntless here. So let's go back. We can do the warp range. Let's get that posted up. Then we can do the hull upgrade. There's 400% hull boost right there. That's a good one to take. This one will actually scale up pretty nicely. These are some pretty big hull. You are restricted basically by the tier of the ship. But they are starting off with some pretty big jumps. Trying to move this ship along and have it catch up pretty quickly. And I'm assuming, yeah, this one's going to match it and move along just as quickly. So you are going to end up with some big bonus values to hull and shield. And then if you're getting the damage bonus from leveling up the ship as well, you're going to get some strong benefits out of it pretty fast. Kirshara keeps breaking. I am not surprised. It's also a reason I have never bothered to unlock that thing, because I have no patience for it. Definitely something for Mirror Loop. It can be very helpful in Mirror, absolutely. Once you get it to the appropriate level, and we were talking about this when the ship was released, right? Like, everyone likes to go hunting mirror hostiles up here, right? Where the heck is it? Up here. So we all go here. Nope, that's not it. It's over here. So we all go here. We go to Terex, and when you're a little lower, when you're in your high 50s or low 60, just got to 60 and you don't have quite like a maxed out epic or something yet, you might be killing in the 68s. And then, you basically go to the 70s. That's where everyone does all their farming for all their Sigma speed ups. You get those nice 15-hour speed ups. And I'm sure you're going to see a lot of people who have upgraded their Dauntless using it in here to do all of this stuff. But don't forget, you do have these systems over here as well, the 61 and 65 systems. And, if you can't quite get in and seek and destroy active and sustain that for the whole, 10, 20, 30 minutes, of your timer and your seek and destroy ability timer and your mirror universe timer, it might not be a bad idea to at least go back to the slightly earlier G6 systems over here, where you can still hit miners. They'll still give you faction rep. They'll still drop Sigma speed ups, maybe not as abundantly, or not as good. I get the 15-hour ones. We may get some 1 or 3 hour ones off of these guys. And just use that until you can get the ship caught up to where you are. Also, I don't know why my ship is now stuck, because that's fun. So I guess we're going to take a second and reboot. How do you do waves without the Kirshara? I click on the ships. I use the keyboard to switch between ships. It's a lot easier. Sancho says at tier 6, you're easily doing MU 68. Denver says tier 2 is auto grinding on the 65s. Okay. So that's good to know. I mean, obviously, you guys are higher level players. You're going to have, high level officers and other research buffs and things like that. But each player is going to have to figure out exactly where everything fits best for them. All right, let's finish up this mission here. Undaunted. Donate some tritanium. All right, let's repair our ship. We get a nice little lag spike right in the middle of this. And now Undaunted Part 2 here, which again is also giving me some ship up. This is research upgrade. But still. Let's just go kill that guy real fast. Oh, Sancho doesn't have the ship yet, but just other people in the Alliance do? Okay. Now I'm going to tear up the ship is what it wants me to do next. Okay. We're going to get to that in just a second. Broken Wolf turns off the Kirshara during waves. I've recommended that to people since the day, well, I've recommended people since the day it was released, don't even bother with the stupid thing. But if you are going to use it, at least turn it off during waves because it seems to have way more problems in that mechanic than it does in other parts of the game. Good morning, Ultra. Good to see you. Welcome on in. We are just unlocking our Dauntless here, and we're now about to try to see how far we can take this. I can't tear it up. At least I don't think I'm going to get it tiered up. No. We got it about halfway. We've got a couple more components that we need that we don't quite have the materials for just yet. And I don't think any of these other things give out like Dauntless ship parts and whatnot. What's up, Floyd? Yeah, Undaunted no longer. So that's spending the ship parts would tier that up. Okay. The bottom half of the battle pass has upgrade materials. That would make sense. That they'd put some stuff like that in the bottom half of it. There's 1200 right there. There's 1100 for the research. And there's a few more nodes right there. So there's another 800. So there's, 2100 parts in the bottom half of the battle pass. Obviously, month of release is going to have some additional sourcing mechanics. If you're getting the ship a little later down the road, you're not going to have access to that. So you're stuck with just the refinery. Which is kind of what we're stuck hanging out with right now. Let's just take a peek here. So I don't think I have anything else I have to go kill with this thing at the moment. Because now it just wants me to upgrade the ship, which we'll do in the next couple of days here. I don't think I have any other refinery options either. No. Okay. So hypothetically speaking, so let's just see, right? We're tier 1. I'm 45 million power. What could I do in the mirror universe? I'm going to head for the 55s. Archer. No, I'm up too high. I gotta go here. We're one system too high. Tau Ceti. All right, let's go to Radaban first. We'll try the 51s. We'll see what happens. 55s might be too much. It might be. But we're tier 1, right? We should be killing G4 hostiles realistically. We're trying to punch above our weight class and see if we can't hit some G5 hostiles with it at least. So we'll start at 51 and we can go up to 55 if necessary. But gem is an extraction system. Now again, bear in mind, as a G6 player, I probably have a little more research and building buffs and things that are certainly making my ship work better than yours might right out of the box. Unless, of course, you're a better player and a higher level player than I am. All right, so these guys right here, of course, they're 1 billion power. Let's see what happens. Did we kill any? All right, we got some 51s. How much damage are we taking here? No damage. Yeah, I've got a lot of artifacts and things too, Fallman points out. We are taking very little shield damage, almost no hull damage. We are killing these things in 8 rounds. You know, the apex barrier, the shield, we are really absorbing a crazy amount of damage here. We're also mitigating a high amount right off the bat because of Hammer. Because again, these types of hostiles. So very, very, very little is actually making it through to the hull per weapon shot. And this is tier 1. So I could just let this go, run amok in here for a while. And just killing these 51s and getting some 5-star ship parts and a decent little amount of faction rep. Now, if that's the base faction rep, we can actually try and catch it. Where'd my calculator go? 65291445876. We'll let it go for like 5 or 6. It's moving fairly well from ship to ship. Trying to locate which one might have the closest path. Is it going to go for that one that's moving away? Yes. But it's still closer than these two. So it seems like it's still moving pretty easily here. From ship to ship. And if we just go look at our faction rep again, you know, in a minute, I'll say. Six, 5, 2, 8, 3, 9, 3, 2, 4, 9, 6. I got 7 million faction rep. Excuse me. In the minute or so that we were sitting here talking, I got 7 million faction rep off of these 51s. And I could obviously let this run for 7 more minutes if I wanted to. And that would do a pretty good job of killing stuff. But in this particular instance, we're going to go ahead and pass. We're going to let it kill that particular hostile. And oh, because I turned it off while I was on my way to an auto attack and it didn't disengage from the target. It didn't disengage from the target that it was already flying to. It just turned off the buffs. So there's a lesson for you. If you turn off the search and destroy, make sure you have enough time left to redirect the ship to go somewhere else. Because otherwise, you'll do what I just did and you'll die instantly. Does the ship have a bonus for FKR rep? No. All the bonuses are coming from my research. All my FKR boost research is where that's all coming from. So let's try and move up and go kill a 55. Hey, good evening, Samo. Samo, I met another Canadian streamer today playing Star Trek Fleet Command. It was like her second or third stream. Her name is Curly Sue Who. She used to live in British Columbia. I don't know what part of Canada she lives now in, but she's an Ops 41 player who just started streaming this week. Or, well, 3 streams, so I'm assuming maybe last week. It was like, uh-oh, there's another Canadian a boot. The loot bonus works on rep too. That's true, Denver Stone. I did forget about that. One of its bonuses here for the Seek and Destroy ability is a rep bonus, a loot bonus, which would apply to everything. And we are going to go try Radaban, which is the level 55 system now. Once it's tier 2, I can put the Agony booth on it. That would also be beneficial, right? If you give it some tech. But yes, it does require tier 2 on any ship to unlock the tech slots. No, not at all. You're good. Now we're going to turn this back on here. Now, remember the last ones we were killing were 1.5. These are 3 billion power. So these are technically double power, but for the most part, it's really just double the hull health. So the fight's probably just going to take a few extra rounds. But as you can see, we're still easily killing the 55s. And this is at tier 1. Taking more shield health because of Pike's ability, but I'm still taking very little hull damage overall. And if I had more officer slots and things, I could be using like a pick hue or something to restore hull health, or if I was, because it's an interceptor, if I was putting like hull breach on with Balana, I'd be getting extra bonuses. I've opted for slot 1 crit chance. Is always my preferred option there, boosting my critical hit chance so you kill everything a lot faster as opposed to hull breach, in my opinion. So there you go. So the fight's going 11 rounds. We are getting a little bit of hull repair because of, research and artifacts and all those kinds of things. And yeah, I could just sort of let this run amok here on the 55s. If I wanted to do the other systems with the miners in them, that have the faction rep, I think I have to go. Well, here's the 58 in Rami. I think that's the next step up because there's 61s and 65s here, and the 58s and 60s are up here. How many Seek and Destroy do you get a day? I think it's a one-time. It's a 100 claim, so it's just once, right? Yeah, you can hold up to 300. So if you don't use it, you can stockpile a little bit. but I think I only get 100 at a time. I don't know if you can claim it twice or what the cooldown is on it. We haven't gotten that far yet because of the gift chest. Right away when I unlocked the ship, it gave me like 600 right off the bat before I could even do anything with the refinery. So we'll find out. And that does increase on tiers. The more you tier up the ship, the more scans you get, and not only so you can do it more often per day, but also so it will last longer per day. And I believe that's all on the chart for the Dauntless. Let's go back and look at our chart. If you're watching this later, I'll leave a link to the chart in the video description. So yeah, here's your ship. So we're right here. We're at tier 1. I get 10 minutes. I get 1 activation per day. I'm capped at 3. As soon as I take it to tier 2, it goes to about 11 and a half minutes, but I still only get 1 activation per day. Same thing with tier 3. We're getting a little more time. Once I get the ship to tier 4, now I start getting 2 activations per day, and my cap goes up as well. So I can hold up to 600. So if I want to skip a day or two and save them up and then just run amok for, 14 minutes a time for 6 runs, like I could do 2 runs if I can live long enough. That's 28 minutes. That's a mirror universe loop. So technically I could do it for 14 minutes. It'll wear off. I could do it for another 14 minutes, and then I'm getting kicked out of the MU anyway because my 30-minute MU timer's up. Once you get the ship up to tier 4. And at tier 1, I'm already hitting well into the 50s, so this thing does have some decent value right off the bat. And again, we're just going to let it run around here killing everything. Booty's got yours up to tier 4? Okay. Unless you bought a max ship, you need strong crew to punch up till you're strong enough for 70 MU. Okay, thank you, Denver. Schwag wants to know, well, your wife wants to know, what the heck are you listening to? Last longer, more often? It's not a Viagra ad. I mean, we can help in that department too. If I have any, if I can be of any assistance, you just let me know. I'll give you all the tips I can think of. Is hitting these at my level good value? Relatively speaking, no. But at the same time, if I was just passively doing this in the background while I'm doing my actual dailies and the things that I want to be doing, if I'm just letting this ship just do this for 10 minutes a day, it's not hurting me in any way. As long as I'm not using my primary crew, if this is on a secondary ship dock, it's kind of like tying up a Reliant, right? It's just out there getting hit and getting killed by things. Could I actively go kill bigger things than my Reliant is killing auto grinding? Absolutely. But I don't have to be engaged in the game doing anything. My Reliant's over here killing 52s by itself, which is fine. If I want to do an event or I need a different loot, I'll go up and I'll kill the G6 stuff and actively do it myself. But if I'm just going to, hey, I'm just going to take whatever I can get, thank you for getting me something while I'm not even playing the game, this could certainly be very helpful. I'm getting some extra loot chests, getting some extra materials, and this thing does have value right off the bat to me. So we're going to move up here right after this kill. Just make sure you leave yourself enough time to cancel which way the ship's going. All right, we're going to go to our extraction point. We're going to go back. We're going to repair. And then we're going to try one more run. And we are going to go up here to Rami and hit the 58s and see what happens. Every single hostile the Reliant kills is one you don't have to. Precisely. There you go. Hi, Scarin. Well said. So yeah, did it get me a whole lot of rep? Of course not. But, I mean, I gained a couple, I think I was at 280 something million that I needed Now I'm down to 200 million. So I got 80 million rep while I'm sitting here talking to you guys and clicking through screens and just showing off abilities. It did something for me. And this ship is only tier 1. So I'm impressed so far. I'm impressed with its ability to do what it said it was going to do. And the fact that, at least in this aspect, I've been able to punch up a little bit and hit some things that are certainly you wouldn't expect it to hit at tier 1. That's 45 million power. That's, I mean, do I have any other ships that I can compare it to? If I wanted to look at something that's 45 million power, are we even talking about a 42 at that point? What are we talking about here? I mean, a Cerritos is 60 million, a Titan is 60 million power for me. A Franklin A, like those are the kind of ships, support ships you're talking about, right? Not things that are really good at punching up and killing stuff specifically. I don't have like a Valdor or anything built to compare it to, but just hypothetically speaking, if we went in here and looked, if we go to shipyard level, so if you compare a Dauntless right off the bat, 36 million versus a Kelvin or a Valdor, technically it's half the strength of one of them. So this thing should be weaker than a 42 uncommon. And here I am at tier, but because of the ship bonus, that's why when I normally fought something, it kicked my ass and I died instantly. But when I'm using the 200,000% damage bonus plus the 40,000% apex barrier bonus with that ship ability, it's punching way above its weight class. Schwag says you can use it to do all those field training tasks. Possibly. If you still have any of your field trainings left, like maybe the ones that require you to kill hundreds or thousands of particular types of hostiles, this ship could eventually do some of that for you. Especially the Monavine one was really annoying because that's the one that you have to kill the active hostiles, not the auto grinder ones. And those are the ones that when you're fighting them, your shield is down. So if the Dauntless can do some of that work for you, that seems like a good idea. All right, let's see just how far we can go. We're moving on up here. Now remember, it doesn't have any hazard resistance or anything right off the bat. That's a much higher tier research. So that may limit you in terms of certain things that you could use it for. We're going to go up here. Level 58s. These things are 4 billion power, so not much bigger than the other ones. Let's turn that on. And let's see how we do here. So we're taking more shield health, but we're not quite getting into a lot more hull damage just yet. The fights are going up to 15 rounds. So we're kind of reaching our tipping point here. And as you can see, especially because depending on how quickly my shield regen is and how close the next target is, there's certainly a possibility that I might not have regenerated enough of those shields before the next fight starts. But it seems like we're doing okay. That 3,000 Texas class goal would someday just be autocomplete. There you go. Broken Wolf used the Dauntless in Dominion space. Speed and Loot Crew ran out of Bajoran for the daily claim. Okay, there you go. Right? If you have something you need a daily claim to do, right? This can help you with that. If you're talking about, you know, we're looking at MU and ship parts, of course. This thing's running around killing stuff. But even some of your other specialty loops, if you're not using like your Exborg refinery for, and you need to kill stuff for your Dominion hostiles, you could do that. Or if you need to kill some of the entry level stuff and just have it go crazy around here to get you those first, a couple of turn-ins for the NX-01, the Zindi stuff. Couldn't think of the name of them. You could obviously do some stuff like that. Obviously we talk about the Texas class hostiles and auto grinding with them. Faction rep and faction credits are the most likely one. I don't know that we'll be doing a whole lot in here, but maybe it might be okay against some of that stuff. Swarms could certainly be helpful, right? I mean, people hate Swarm Sunday, right? But if you had a Dauntless, and then you're like, oh, I got to kill 75 swarms in this system. It's like, no, I'll just turn this thing on and come back in 10 minutes and it'll be done. That could be helpful. Or Gorn, if you don't want to spend time grinding Gorn parts. Or it's another good one. People hate silent hostiles. That's another good one, right? Eventually, if you're coming up here and you're killing silent hostiles with it, and that's fine. Great. What's the cargo space on it? 5.5 million. That's pretty good. Again, tier 1, I've got 5 million cargo space on this thing. Sure, let's go auto grind some silent hostiles. Assuming once you get to the appropriate tier so it can kill the right level of stuff. Because for me, there's no point in it going, oh yeah, I can kill 55s. Well, I can't refine 5-star material. I have to kill 61s with it. So probably going to have to get a little higher first for that. But for day 1, it was 65 and 200. I've already gotten, just from this explanation, I've already gained 70 million faction rep while I'm just talking to you guys. 70 million in 3 minutes. Now we're probably not going to make it, or even if we do make it, the whole 6 minutes. Of the search and destroy. That's probably about as far as we're going to get. So we're doing okay on the 58s. I'd be tempted to see how well we can do. I mean, as long as we're here for science, right? Oh, I don't want to do that. I need to make sure that the next hostile is far enough away, or turn it off now while I'm in combat. And now let's go up to Terex and go check out the 6. I'm sorry, I don't want to go to Terex. I want to go to Karen. Why waste weeks of tokens for the text? Just for completion's sake, Sancho, just to have it done, to have one thing crossed off your list so you can go look at your field training and just be like, I'm completely done. I never have to look at this ever again. There are people who just like to complete things. They like to just have things crossed off the list. It makes them feel like a sense of accomplishment. All right, so we're moving up to the 60s. I'm not optimistic because the 60s go from 3.8 to 6.5. So there's a big jump here. I think we're not going to do so well. But for science, we're going to try a couple. All right, so we killed a couple. We're taking a lot more shield health and hull health. The shields are going pretty much all the way down. So the 60s are certainly a bit more of a challenge. Even at a full health, I would not be able to stay out here and just keep killing stuff for an extended period of time. 58s, I could probably do the 10 minutes of the auto grind, but I'm not going to get the full 30-minute value out of my Mirror Universe entry token. At the 55s, I was doing just fine with that. The 58s, we were doing okay. We're slowly chipping away. Like I feel comfortable saying the 10-minute auto grind would have been enough. Seek and destroy for 10 minutes, I would have lasted. As you can see, these fights are going 15 rounds. I'm progressively taking a little bit more hull damage each time. But when we move up to the 60s here, Well, now these fights are just going even longer here. We're going 23 rounds. And again, this is just, preliminary day one. Pike, Samkirk, Hemmer. It's what we normally use to grind in the Mirror Universe these days. But I only have one below deck slot. So there's only so much we can do here. And maybe if I had, instead of IL, if I was using Q, maybe it would work out better because I would just be critting more often. And that might cut the fight down a little bit shorter as well. We could certainly try flip-flopping those officers and see if that makes a difference. Where is Hugh? Just see if she works, if he works better than her. Not as much of a ramp-up period with him. If we're trying to make these fights go a little bit shorter. Meow has a question. What are those commendation rank in the factions used for? You're talking about these commendation rank things right here. There are a couple of low-level missions that require them as like, hey, get me this to do this turn-in. And then you get like 500 par steel or something for your troubles. They basically have zero value. I'll say it. They have zero value in the game. Other than completing one or two faction-related missions, which give you very little in terms of an actual reward for your troubles. And most newer players to the game won't even know what they do. They'll just skip right past those missions. It's all 7-year-old content. So now typical, results may not be typical. Individual users may vary, may see varied results, right? There's your disclaimer warning. Based on your ops level, your officer levels and tiers, your fact, research, your artifacts, things may not quite work out the same for you. But even killing the 55s at tier 1, to me, it's pulling its weight. It has some type of value there. And if we can do, if this helps at all kill the 58s, switching to Hugh. So when we were fighting the 58s earlier, these fights were going 15 rounds. Did that make it any better? We cut a few rounds off. So switching from Viel to Hugh did matter. Because he, instead of just boosting my crit chance steadily, Hugh's a higher tier. He's got higher stats slightly, so that's also a bit of a boost there too. Probably relating to Hemmer helping my mitigation a little bit. But yeah, we're also critting a little more often because of Hugh and just in terms of the difference in their tiers and abilities. We are saving a couple of rounds, which is going to save me some hull health and some shield health as we move from hostile to hostile here. Now I can claim my search and destroy. And that is a 22-hour cooldown timer. So yeah, once per day I can make that claim like we were looking at on the chart. Lost Soul, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Any questions about the Dauntless? Anything else you guys want to add? Anything I didn't go over? Please let me know.